We're going to the experts now. She is the Queen of Sunrise.
Here's what you need to know with Bianca Stone from 7 News.
Oh, Bianca Stone, good morning. I suppose we need to go straight for the jugular. Will we be in lockdown by this time next week?
Good morning. In my opinion, I think we will go into lockdown. We know the Premier's pretty trigger happy when it comes to that. She said yesterday we're on the verge of lockdown. She is ready to do it. The next 24 hours, though, will be crucial. What they'll really be looking for is whether there are any unlinked cases of community transmission. So what has these authorities particularly nervous is that Delta strain. So we know yesterday we heard about the female miner who came into Queensland after working in that remote Northern Territory mine. She contracted COVID from a colleague who got it while in hotel quarantine here in Brisbane. So she's come back into the community. She had no symptoms whatsoever. This poor woman has been roasted by people left, right and centre. She flew into Brisbane, went to Bli on the Sunshine Coast. She then took a road trip out to Mara. That's where she was notified about the possible exposure. She's gone back, gotten tested. She's now in the Sunny Coast University Hospital. The concern, though, is there are 169 other colleagues of that miner who are now in Queensland who have been exposed to the Delta variant. Now, remember, the Delta one is the highly contagious one.
Well, the Dawson Valley Drovers, which is the rugby club out of Mara, they'd be fretting. I mean, their season's just about to get underway, and I take all serious. Country towns like Mara, the real threat is the regions, because they are in no way up to it from a health perspective to be looked after if it does get into those regions, and that's the real worry. So the Premier's obviously going to look at that. What's your gut say, Bianca, this week?
Yeah, I think my gut says Thursday. I think if we get some more cases today and tomorrow, which is likely from a few different clusters, from the Portuguese restaurant cluster, that seems to be fairly under control. That's the Alpha strain, and everyone from that cluster seems to have gone into lockdown pretty quickly. But on that note, about 60 cops and associates of police from the Brisbane Watch House have been exposed, including some who worked at Origin. Yeah. So, there's some cross-exposure there. Then you've got the Virgin flight attendant who came in on 2 separate flights into Queensland, one to Brisbane, one to the Gold Coast. There's some new exposure sites on the Gold Coast that have come out today. That's the Oasis Shopping Centre. You guys would know that's a pretty busy spot. The Woolworths there, the BWS there. So new exposure sites. If we get new cases over the next couple of days, I think the Premier won't hesitate in putting Queensland into lockdown. Sydney's in lockdown. You've got Darwin in lockdown, and now you've got Perth in lockdown as well. I think tomorrow or the next day we'll see a lockdown here.
I mean, the great irony that the only place that's not in lockdown is the southern state of Victoria at the moment. But look, Bianca, have we heard anything more about actually getting a quarantine facility that is suited to this virus up in Queensland?
Yeah, look, nothing concrete at the moment. Of course, that site out at Pinkenba has been proposed. The government's hell-bent on the one out at Wellcamp Airport. The state government's hell-bent on the one at Wellcamp Airport near Toowoomba. But nothing that's going to happen anytime soon. Now, remember, the concern with this latest outbreak here in Queensland with the Delta virus is it comes from our own hotel quarantine. You could, in effect, say that the Queensland government's border closures have led to the Delta virus being brought into Queensland and then maybe put us into lockdown. Wow. Because, we closed the border to Victoria. That miner came up from Bendigo, which hasn't had a case in God knows how long. He was put in hotel quarantine on the same floor as international arrivals. He got the Delta strain, took it to the Northern Territory, and has caused all these lockdowns everywhere. And the Prime Minister last night has come out and said, well, we're going to make it policy that we don't put low-risk domestic travellers on the same floor as international arrivals.
Bianca, I mean, it is a frustrating time at the moment, but also important that you do find the joys and the little wins in life. And I know you've been texted something this morning that is potentially now the screensaver on your phone. You're aware of the Dobbo Blanky situation, I believe. That was...
Come on.
Look, if you're to take comfort out of anything, it's a snuggly. Yeah. I mean, my 6-year-old's got a snuggly Dobbo. It might not have trucks and cars on it, but, if we are going to lockdown, Dobbo needs his snuggly. Make sure he's got one, guys.
Bianca, that'll be enough. Thank you very much.
Good on you. Bianca Stone of Sunrise, really appreciate your time as always, mate. Thanks for joining us on Triple M.
Thanks, guys.
Good on you, legend. Winter Breakfast with Dobbo, Elliott and Harley Breen. Coming up next, if you've ever been a victim of car theft, you'll be able to relate to Harley. We'll get into that straight after this on Triple M.